Thank you very much for having me today. My name is Philipp Nastaly. I'm the co-founder and CEO of CHAPTR. So I'm one of the three amigos, as we like to reference to ourselves, within the boundaries of CHAPTR and also externally. I'm responsible for the business side of things within CHAPTR. So I'm probably not, the tech aficionado between the three of us. There are people way smarter and way more well-versed when it comes to product development. But what I have an education in and kind of have I would call good gut feeling in, is the question on how do you actually build a business out of these super interesting topics that are emerging at the very horizon of generative AI and Web3. So today I will be talking to you about the bigger picture of Wide Mirror, and more specifically also about why we believe that the combination of Web3 and generative AI makes a hell lot of sense. And I would love to have an engaged discussion with you. Obviously, we prepared some slides that I would love to lead you through. But obviously, at any point in time, if you have any questions whatsoever, raise your hands, or however this actually works at Discord. I'm more than happy to answer each and every single one of them. So let's jump right into it. We believe that we currently see two main paradigm shifts in the media industry. One was the hype topic of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, which is Web3, the community economy. And I will go down into the definition of what we actually believe Web3 is, where the value actually lies, and also what it is not. And the other one is the hot topic ever since ChatGPT was launched, I think at the end of November last year. For those who were a bit earlier, like ourselves, we were talking about this topic for quite some time now. However, I think the majority of us and the broader society got in touch with generative AI, starting with maybe Midjourney, maybe DALL-E 2, but most certainly with ChatGPT. So generative AI and Web3 are the two paradigm shifts that we currently see in media. That is for very good reason that I will elaborate in a second. So how did we start with the idea of Web3 actually might be a thing? So it was, I think, 2021. Suddenly JPEGs on the blockchain have been traded for a huge amount of money. Like, for example, the Bored Apes that we see here, a huge hype has been generated. And at this point in time, in my previous role as VP of Strategy and Innovation at a large media corporate, Hotspring Publishing Group to be specific, obviously I was taking a look, I was taking notice. I was having to analyze what's actually going on there. Everybody's talking about this. There's so much money in there. So should we, as a media company, also do something with NFTs? And frankly speaking, at the very beginning, when you start thinking about NFTs, particularly from a media perspective, you think, oh, great, I have NFT. I can now put it on the blockchain and someone will pay a huge amount of money for that. However, as we figured out fairly soon, once we actually started and interacted in that very space, that is not really the idea behind Web3. So in very short terms, we have understood very, very quickly that NFTs are not necessarily a product, but a tool to enable something much bigger than just a quick buck that you can get by putting something onto the blockchain and selling it to a third party. But it is a tool to bring together a community. What do I mean by that? The beauty of Web3 is not necessarily the new monetization potentials, like, for example, royalties or paying something with crypto, but it is about bringing the right people together into a community, aligning them towards a common goal, and letting them do their magic without the necessity of any intermediary in between whatsoever. Given that you are on a Discord server right now, listening to my words, I see lots of avatars and lots of, very well-renowned NFT projects here. I will not bore you with the definition of Web3, what this actually is, and, how you can actually create value with this community. So let's jump right into it. The community basically takes out the middleman. It takes out the necessity of anyone with a either curation function or distribution function or sales function or editorial function, but it is about the talent that comes together and governs themselves towards a common goal. And this is crucial when you look at the role of today's media companies in itself, like, for example, publishing houses, like, for example, TV broadcasters, and even including Netflix, because they have this intermediary function. But at some point in time, someone at Netflix or at a TV broadcaster or at a publishing house makes a decision on whether you will become a star or not, whether your book is being published or not, whether your film or your story will be selected for the new Netflix special or not. And this is always a very centralized decision, a very inclusive, like exclusive, to be specific here, exclusive decision that is being made. And if you take that middleman out, that level of curation, that level of decision making, and letting actually a community decide what is being funded and what is being produced, and not a single entity, then we have a complete new paradigm in the media industry as a whole, including content creation, content distribution, content consumption, and content monetization. In short, we are summarizing all of this as we believe in co-creation, co-ownership, and co-earnings. For you guys, as you're probably very, very deep in Web3, this is nothing new. But for the industry as a whole, this is massive, because this basically says that everybody can join the party and that consumers, which are then no longer consumers, but an active community, can vote with their feet what they actually want. So do we want another Adam Sandler movie, or maybe something that is a bit more, well-versed? That's up to us to decide, because we are the active community who can now be in charge. So, as I mentioned before, the vision behind all that is the fairest possible version of a creator economy, the most inclusive version of a creator economy possible, by taking out the middlemen, by taking out, just to take a metaphor here, Harvey Weinstein, who is deciding, yep, you will become a star, and nope, you won't become a star, by actually taking the middleman out and letting the community vote with their feet. The question, however, in this very theoretical scenario, which only answers the question of how you produce stuff, it doesn't answer what is being produced. It doesn't answer what problem is being solved. It only answers the governance question. It answers how a community can come together with equally shared information, with equally shared voting rights, blah, blah, blah. This is only governance. But the question is, how do you actually enable these creators in a decentralized community to create true high quality content when they are co-creating stuff? And by co-creating stuff, I mean complex projects. I'm not talking about, just one story or just one picture. I'm talking about like massive projects, like, for example, a movie, as you might have guessed, given that we are right now on the Wide Mirror server. It is about bringing people together, aligning them towards a complex and very ambitious goal, and letting them do their magic just by themselves, by tokenizing stuff via the blockchain. So how do you enable them? Well, you have guessed it, by providing them with the right tools. And generative AI is nothing short of exactly that very tool. Because what does generative AI do? It basically democratizes the skills between a very, very, very skilled creator and me. I might be a very creative person, but let's take, visualization, for example. I'm not very skilled when it comes to expressing myself using visuals. But with Midjourney, as you might have guessed in this presentation, I'm suddenly capable of expressing myself in an unheard way before. Will the pictures that I'm generating ever be as good as from a true creative professional? Absolutely not. But the results in itself are pretty impressive, and we actually see a democratization of skills. So now we have the periphery. So each and every one who is collaborating in this very community, we have them enabled by giving them the right tools, by actually co-creating stuff towards a common goal, like, for example, a fully AI-generated feature film, as we are trying with Wide Mirror. And this is actually the key to Web3 when it comes to co-creation from our point of view. One point that is of utmost importance to me and everyone within CHAPTR, this does not mean, so generative AI does not mean that human creativity is dead. It is still a form of art. It is just a new tool of expressing your own very human creativity. It is about this very initial spark that you have in your head about an idea of a young boy who is striving to play in the NBA, but then something happened, whatever your story might be. But with generative AI, you are now becoming capable of expressing this very idea in an unheard way. And this, from my point of view and our point of view, is the most, this is the very definition of creativity and human creativity. And this remains deeply human, this initial creative spark that is still required to express yourself in this new paradigm. So in short, expressing your own ideas in a very creative way will become much, much, much easier. I'm shying back to call it a commodity at this very point, because there still will be a difference between people who are, so talented in prompting their ideas and expressing their ideas in, using generative AI tools, but it will become much easier. So we will see some democratization of skills. And now let's connect. Oh, yeah, quick market update. A lot of people are jumping on this bandwagon. I think this one is 2 days old. Venture capital, who has been investing billions and billions in Web3 over the last 3-ish years, is now pretty much focusing on generative AI. And this for good reason, because generative AI has what Web3 didn't have in the previous phase of innovation, a use case, like a tangible, easy to explain use case. You just open your notebook or MacBook or something and you show ChatGPT to your mother, she'll get it right away. Try that with Web3, which is more on the theoretical side of things. So the use case, the pragmatism, the tangibility of the ideas, all of them that we see here is just so much easier to sell, and hence also venture capital money is flowing into the direction of generative AI. The point I was trying to make earlier, now I'm trying to get back to it. It will become much easier to express yourselves, but now you have to think about the opportunities that are actually emerging when you bring together the power of a community that governs itself, so the most inclusive governance you could possibly think of, and now equip each and every one of these individuals with this amazing tool to express yourself. This is exactly where the magic happens. This is exactly where the spark of each and every creative human comes together and something amazing happens. And we at CHAPTR, we truly believe in this promise. We believe in this promise of Web3 without the necessity of intermediary, that creative minds can come together and create something that is truly amazing. However, there are some, let's call it challenges that we have along the way, and challenges that are of utmost importance to us, because each and every one of us has played a lot with different Gen AI tools. And I think we all agree that, this is massively good. Like these tools are crazily good. And the problem is, when there's something so good, people sometimes tend to be not that good people. So there will always be people misusing that. There will always be people doing, stuff with it that is not, initially intended, like deep fakes, fake news, blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. But it's not only that. For example, if there is a large language model that is trained in a certain way, and I think we've heard all about the news on Twitter, on different blogs, even in the newspapers, that suddenly when you try to tease a certain large language model, the output can become, bad. And by bad, I mean morally bad or ethically bad. And particularly when you are serving a target group, for example, children or, young adults, you need to make sure, you need to take utmost care that the output, even in this very probabilistic scenario that we are in generative AI, is safe. So the standards and the guidelines that we have to implement, not only we as CHAPTR, but we as a society, we as, the tech people who are building in this very space, these standards and guidelines need to be rigid, robust, and comprehensive to make sure that this technology is used in a beneficial way, and only in a beneficial way. So let's come back to the initial promise, bringing together Web3 and generative AI. Generative AI, as I mentioned before, solves two major problems of Web3 co-creation that we have seen in the last, bull run of NFTs and DAOs and the likes. A, it closes the co-creator skill gap. Suddenly, the people are capable of expressing themselves in that very interesting new manner. And that is very crucial when you talk about actual co-creation. It's not only one person who is co-creating stuff, but many people coming together and working towards the same style, the same story, the same characters, and maybe even the same outcome. And last but not least, well, it becomes scalable, because if it becomes that easy to create multimodal, high-quality experiences just with the pressing of a button, this becomes sexy and this becomes scalable. Because now, when you bring together these willing collaborators, these creative human beings, and let them do the work, something magical happens. And that's exactly what we're trying to achieve with White Mirror as our very, very first project. On the other side, Web3 might also solve certain problems that the generative AI space, particularly when it comes to content creation, is facing. Well, when we are talking about fair creator attribution. So, for example, when I'm realizing that my images or my paintings have been used to train Midjourney, and then I go to Midjourney and type in, hey, please do create a picture in the style of Philip, and suddenly I realize, hey, this knows pretty well like how I paint my pictures. I would be pretty mad. Like I would even sue them, and that's exactly what's happening at this very point with certain creators. And the problem lies obviously in the design of the model, because generative AIs are extremely smart in what they do, and they need a lot of data input in order to be trained in such a way that they can actually come up with this amazing output. But you do not know what went in there. Right. And if you know what went in there, like how do you find a fair contribution and attribution model for these creators who help training the model? And that's the big question. That's a big question in the creator community right now, because they obviously are saying, so why should I train the model? Because if I deliver my input, if I deliver my books, stories, pictures, videos, voice, whatever it is that I have to contribute, and then the model is being trained and then is basically doing my job, like I'm basically killing my existence, my creative existence. Why should I do that? So we have to think about different models on how we can actually solve that. And Web3 is based on blockchain technology, on a decentralized ledger that cannot be changed. That is like it's permissionless. It's what's the English word for that? I'm looking for it. You know what I mean? You cannot change an entry once it's on the blockchain. And once it's proven on the blockchain that you have contributed to training this model, then this is something that could be of interest just from a technological perspective. And last but not least, also, if you have helped co-creating something, then you have codified ownership on the blockchain, and you can structure, all your licensing agreements that might emerge from the great movie that we all here within White Mirror have been creating. Then this is also something that we could take care of in a way that is scalable and actually helps a community and creator economy on steroids. So all in all, we believe that Web3 and generative AI belong together, as they are perfectly complementing one another. And this is no like, oh, I've been a Web3 expert and now I'm a generative AI expert kind of thing. No, we have been thinking about these two things from day one, from day zero, because they just fit so well. One is answering the how you incentivize people, how you structure the governance. The other one is giving them the right tools to actually create the what. And this is what we do. This is exactly what we do. We operate at the intersect of Web3 and generative AI. And this is where we are building new businesses, new projects, very ambitious projects like, for example, White Mirror. And this is what we do within CHAPTR and White Mirror. So all in all, just imagine the opportunities for creators and also for businesses, because in this new paradigm of Web3, where intermediaries are, well, at least questionable, or within generative AI, where completely new business models are emerging. And we can talk about them later at any point in time if you wish. This is a new paradigm. This is the wild west of creative people, of people who want to express themselves, and people who are that smart and think about, all right, what does this mean for, I don't know, value chain A, value chain B, or business model C? Everything will be or is changing in this very new paradigm. And this is exactly what we're trying to do within CHAPTR. We want to change the way great ideas come to life. And we build community-led media ventures powered by AI. All right, that was fairly philosophical. That was fairly high level, but I promise you the big picture, and I hope I delivered a somewhat vague, rough, big picture like the one that you see in this very background. But now let's quickly talk about White Mirror. And it's very important to me that I chose this very introduction because White Mirrors didn't like it didn't we didn't start White Mirror just by chance, just by oh yeah, well, let's do something maybe with movies and stuff. No, this is like a thing that we have been working on for more than a year now, because it basically ticks all the boxes of all the bigger picture paradigm hypotheses that we as founding and managing directors of CHAPTR have been talking about and thinking about for more than a year. It's about bringing the right people together, aligning them towards a common goal, web3, and giving them the right toolings to create something magical. In our case, the very first Gen AI created feature film. So what is White Mirror? Knowing pretty much all the names that we currently see here on the server, and given that we are on a Discord server, I do not think I will have to give you the whole speech of what White Mirror actually is. But keep in mind that White Mirror didn't happen by chance. It's a long strategy that we have been crafting, and it's a very ambitious project to actually push the boundaries of what is possible out there. And by just what I've seen on this Discord server so far, what the team is telling me on a daily basis, and also from the creators that some of them we have announced already, some are, still in the weeds, but, hang tight, we will be announcing them very shortly. This is exactly what we have been planning, bringing together, great minds that are willing to experiment, that share this extremely ambitious goal that we have of creating the very first Gen AI created movie or feature film. And we're excited. We're absolutely thrilled to be in this with you together. And looking forward to anything that is yet to come when it comes to that. Given that I'm the business guy, also one thing that I feel is reasonable to say and also to underline and state, we are not in this very first season to make like a big buck from that. We are not expecting that. For us, White Mirror is a super ambitious experiment. It's an expensive experiment. It's a very ambitious experiment. But if this actually works, we have proven like what is possible by bringing together these two crazy paradigms in content creation, distribution, monetization, and consumption, namely web3 and generative AI. It is very ambitious, and we are super excited to see how it actually plays out. But we do not expect this to be like, ooh, nice, there's positive cash flow. So, it's our commitment to prove what's going on, to prove that this is possible, and to also learn. This is a learning exercise and all right, let's push the boundaries exercise. So whenever you see something that could be done in a different way, whenever you have a crazily good idea that sounds crazy at the very beginning, but might be feasible, in the long run. This is an experiment, and you should treat it as such. And you, within the community, are part of this very experiment, like pushing the boundaries of AI-generated movies powered by a community. That's pretty dope, I would say. And I would love to encourage every single one of you to take that call and to actually make that an interactive learning exercise that in the end can actually deliver something truly amazing. So, having said all that, I would leave it here with my speech. I hope you learned something from it, and would now open for some questions if there are any.
Thank you, Philip, first for the super interesting keynote. So, just regarding the community, is there some questions, yeah, for chapter or as well regarding White Mirror? So, feel free to as well raise your hand and I can bring you on the stage, or if you more prefer it to write it, then check as well the chat, or just let us know what you want to know. I think there was one question from Eats of Sun. Um, for you personally, what part of White Mirror excites you the most, Philip?
Um, I'm a parent. I have two kids, and the most crucial rule of parenting is you do not have favorites. I would like to follow the same rule with White Mirror. Um, but if I had to pick, it's just the like I love opportunity. I love starting with a white sheet of paper and exploring the realms of possibility. And the fact that we are, you know, at the very, very beginning of something truly magical, um, but not knowing exactly how it will turn out, but trusting the process, trusting the people, trusting the technology, trusting the community. I'm just so excited about the ride. I'm so excited to see what you guys and the creators will actually come up with. Because the first time I have seen our trailer that most of you guys probably have seen from Mario, who just have led. I take this personally, my friend. Kidding. Um, I still get goosebumps when I see this one, right? And what I am so looking forward to is apart from the ride, apart from this intellectual exercise, and also to have this kind of social exercise with each and every one of you, is to at some point in time sit there, um, listen to the creators, to Mario or whoever then is leading that very presentation, saying, "All right, guys, lean back. Here's the first iteration of what we want to show you." And if it is even as closely as good as what Mario and Andy have been producing, uh, I get goosebumps already. This is it. It is just, let's create something amazing, and that is what excites me the most, I guess.
Nice, cool. I hope this fulfilled your questions. Question, Bits of Sun. She's typing again. But are there some other questions from the audience? Yeah, she said yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Um, yeah, are there more questions? So feel free as well to chat it, or to just raise your hand and I can bring you to the stage. So if
Also with regards to business, right? I mean, yes, I can hold a speech and we can talk about strategy and vision and kind of convey emotion. But I mean, we can also talk business, right? Because in the end, and that's kind of my responsibility within chapter and also within White Mirror. Um, let's talk about what business opportunities you see in this new paradigm of generative AI. More than happy to. If you want to talk more about the creative side, well, I will try, as I'm a fairly creative person, but not a professional. Um,
so yes, guys, if there are more questions regarding those both topics, feel free to just ask. But yeah, there as well was some feedback, Philip, from Dr. Moonhead, that he said it was really great. He enjoyed it. So yes, some good feedback as well for you. And
I'm looking for the emojis here in Discord to send hearts. I'm an emoji guy. I like sending hearts. Um, no,
can
but in all seriousness, I mean it's completely fine, and it's a somewhat artificial scenario with a few people here, and then the question is, oh, does anyone have questions? So if you have any questions whatsoever with regards to White Mirror, with regards to chapter, with regards to generative AI, Web3, business models, whatever you want, let's connect on Twitter, let's connect on Discord. More than happy to answer each and every one of them, ones at a time. So just as an encouragement. And I think someone was raising their hand if I got this one right.
yes, I think it was Sarah, but I'm not sure if this. Yeah, I can bring you to the stage. One
Oh yeah,
second.
let's do it. Let's do it.
So One sec, Sarah. I think you should now. You just need to accept it right now, and then you can go to the stage. There should be some. You should get some. Yeah, some information that you can now just join the stage. Yeah, let me see. She just asked if you can invite her one more time. I think you should just see like yeah, pop up on your screen because I'm currently gave you the authorization to come to the stage. Can you may just check it on your screen?
I just invited you as well. Okay, let me do it. There you go. I'm learning Discord.
Or maybe you can just leave the AMA stage and come back and maybe we can try it. I'm learning. Yeah, she's learning too. That's totally fine, no problem. There was in the meantime I can just yeah, there comes some other question from Elizabeth. What do you think is the most challenging bit about bringing different kinds of storytellers together?
Good question. Very good question. Oh, Ivo, hi. Let me just quickly address the question and then then up to you, Ivo. Honestly speaking, I don't know. Because right now it is not my job to manage individual creators. I do have hypotheses, but I do not know from an operational point of view. I personally believe that it might be a tough sell on two angles. Number one is to actually convince an individual who is born and raised in an environment where you have fairly hierarchical structures, namely content creation. So, for example, when you go to a TV set or some set on Hollywood or something, there's the director, and then there's hundreds of people running around, and you have a clear hierarchy of one individual saying exactly what he or she wants, and the others are executing upon it. And when we were talking about co-creation, it is about giving away some of the freedom that you as the director could probably would want to have in this very situation. So I think it is about one of the key challenges probably is about giving control away. But I am 100% certain that with the right toolings, the right governance, this will become the most dominant form of collaboration when people start to realize what magic actually lies in decentralized collaboration versus just one person saying exactly what he or she wants to have. The second one obviously is, and this is more a philosophical question, well, I mean, I learned a craft, which is expressing myself via video or via text or whatever my form of art is. And now there's this ChatGPT thing. Oh my God, it's threatening my existence. It can never be as good as myself. And the thing that I keep on experiencing when talking to at least executives that are emerging from that very industry is like the typical stages of grief. At the beginning, you saying, no, this cannot be true. Then you are like completely depressed, and you start being angry. And at some point, you start negotiating with the fact that generative AI is here. But at some point in time, you have found your peace with it. Because let's be honest, generative AI is here to stay. It's like this genie is out of the bottle, and it will, completely change the industry that we operate in. And I think this is a really interesting discussion, particularly when you have it more often with different people and different mindsets and different stages of knowledge, to see how they're reacting to it. So I think from both these sides, accepting that decentralized collaboration and giving away decision-making power to someone else is probably one hurdle. And the other one is, accepting this new paradigm of generative AI. But again, both fairly theoretical because I'm not the one bringing together the actual creatives. So I hope you understand that level of abstraction.
Cool. Thank you, Philip. I think Evo, you joined as well the stage, and you want to ask something?
I was mostly curious. I also come from a film and media production background. And so I'm curious how we want to engage with collaboration and inviting people into a process. And if we're thinking broadly, what are the kinds of collaborators that would be most beneficial at this stage? Um, for those of you I haven't met before, I come from production, media, film background in Hollywood, and I have an agency as well, so I have a lot of talent that I could potentially engage or invite into the process down the line. I just want to understand exactly who would be beneficial to bring in and when. How does that work?
First of all, so great to have you here on stage and also, within this very project, Evo. And absolutely great question. So the question is like, who would be very beneficial to bring in? And let's start this from different angles. Let's focus on White Mirror first, and then answer the timeline question, and then maybe for the broader vision which goes beyond White Mirror, maybe potentially. So for White Mirror, I think what is the key focus of people we need is creative minds who bring an affinity for technology, who want to push the boundaries of what is possible, and are like, let's say, in the last stage of grief, which is they have accepted this is happening, and instead of just looking back at something that has not passed, because let's be honest, like the traditional media industry, Hollywood and the likes, will still exist. It's just a question of like different segmentations on how content is being produced for the long tail and the super high quality Netflix stuff. So we are mostly interested in individuals who are willing to experiment and actually pushing these boundaries of what is possible. So it has to be at the intersect of truly creative and somewhat technologically affine individuals and creators. And that's also very important, people who are willing to not only expose themselves to this new technology, but also willing to actual collaboration. So not being in charge and accepting the fact that they are not 100% in charge, but that this is kind of a more community-like governance, let's put it that way, and to that they are willing to engage in this very experiment. So I think that's the answer for White Mirror. However, when it is about the bigger picture of not only season 1, but maybe season 2, 3, 4, 5, 100, and also the other projects that we're building within CHAPTR, I would say everyone who is willing and capable to collaborate in this new paradigm. And this is not necessarily limited to creators, so people expressing their creativity only, but it is about also business people. This could include tech people who are then able to create the best smart contracts for that very purpose. It could include great marketing people who are coming up with the best brand strategy or brand design, or have the most knowledge around performance marketing to actually scale the final output up to the moon. So in the end, this entire exercise is about the entire value chain of media. And we start with content creation with White Mirror here. So right now we'd be more focusing on the people who are willing to express themselves creatively. But in the mid to long run, it is about each and every one of us who wants to contribute to the bigger cause. If that answers your question.
Cool. Ivo, I hope that fulfilled your question. Um, there was just one question from Sarah, so she chatted it in our chat. So I just tried to summarize it. She told that she is a film producer, and they are launching in global theaters, and she's trying to get or navigate through AI and web3, and she asked if you may know some resources to start. So if you are just resources regarding AI, movie making, and Web3. There's some good resources which you could recommend. Or maybe I as well can add something, but I let you first the stage.
Oh no, Diego, come on, please shoot.
Okay. Then, Sarah, just as well check here in our Discord community. So we have this Learning Zone channel, and most of our teams and as well community member, they share super interesting links on Twitter or regarding other tools, and as well we have prepared some cool events the next week. So we had just some community member reached out to us and they asked if they can share their knowledge on this AMA stage as well. So yeah, I just would recommend you to check out our Learning Zone channel, and as well come to our next events, and hopefully then you will learn a lot. And I as well try to put as well a lot of interesting content in the Learning Zone channel. So I think this could be a good start. And as Ivo mentioned, she as well is writing a newsletter, so that could be as well a good source to start. And then I would just recommend regarding all this tool is learning by doing. Just start playing with these tools, just experiment with it. I think mostly it's more easier than to learn these tools than just reading through paper or some kind of links. I would say that would be my suggestion. Philipp, do you have something to add there from your side?
I would more of an advice, less of a recommendation content-wise. Expose yourself. Like, enter these communities, figure out what the communities are that you want to engage in, where you feel the vibe, where people are approachable, where there is enough knowledge being shared, and where you believe in the bigger picture of what is being built within that community. So on the Web3 side, just expose yourself, enter the Discords, and vibe with them, I think you say nowadays. And with regards to Gen AI, I mean, there's like countless different newsletters, and I see right now that there are many links already being posted. Obviously, the one from Evo is the best one, so you should all go and follow and subscribe to that newsletter. But there's a lot, and what I'm personally doing, apart from having some pretty cool newsletters, like for example the Neuron Daily is one that I personally like, there's so much to read. And for example, also in this Discord, we post when there's, a new announcement. And I personally, not trying to to use it as a bragging mechanism, but I work way too much. So I do not have the time to follow up with each and every keynote and each and every new article and each and every new white paper there is. But there is a cool tool that helps you understanding the essence of what actually happened in different sources that you have collected, either in your personal reading list and or in your Discord. And it's called, what was it again? Oh yeah, it's ChatGPT. So what I love to do is when there's something new and I just don't have the time to fully read this new paper, is just to copy paste the link and say, hey, give me the 5 bullet point summary in my language that I understand. And if that is something that is truly meaningful, I see, okay, I really need to get to the bottom of this, then I park this, and then I start at some point in time, whenever I find the time, to actually read the full length article or paper or whatever it is. So what I would love to encourage you all is to use this new paradigm as well to start to actually approach this new technology, even though you might not have this technological background, like for example myself, by simply using ChatGPT and the likes to figure it out yourself in the language that you understand. I mean, this is what this whole thing is about, right? And again, last but not least, that find your 3 to 5 trusted newsletter sources. Again, Evos is awesome, and then you'll be good, I guess.
Sarah, I hope that helps you to start, and yeah, if not, then feel free as well to come back again to our Discord. So we are happy to help and guide you, and yeah, just reach out, and yeah, hope that helped you. So I think we can wrap it up here because it seems like there are no more questions. So yeah, feel free to continue to engage and to chat here in the Discord. So this is still open, but I think we would close the official part of our AMA. Thank you again for every member who has joined. There's just one last thing which I have prepared. So we have a POAP for guys who don't know what is a POAP. It's like proof of attendance protocol, and I just would share the link here in the AMA channel and let it there for I would say 5 or 10 minutes. So POAP is basically like a digital badge, and it just gives you the approval, or it just guarantees you that you has joined our event. And yeah, this POAP will as well have some utility for our upcoming project. So yeah, I just posted now in the chat section here in the Discord. Feel free to click on it. Just use your camera and of your smartphone. Then you can just scan the QR code, and then you can grab your POAP. I think mostly when you don't have a POAP account yet, then you have to create their own account. But this is just a thing of several minutes. And yeah, if you just as well need some support regarding claiming the POAP, feel free to reach out in the chat. So I think then we close the meeting for today. Thank you again, Philipp, and yeah, thank you for having
Thank
me.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gero, for hosting this, and thanks to the community for being here, for listening to my abstract words and beautiful mid-journey generated slides. It's great to have you all here. Let's create something amazing. Looking forward to it.
Cool.
Have a good one.
Then thank you guys, and thank you as well, and to the community for the nice questions. So see you soon on the next events. Bye guys.